All right, guys. Today we're going to be going over the Zillow Flex program and giving you guys an overview of what the program is all about. So let's kick this thing off. First of all, what is Zillow Flex, right? So some of you guys have heard of Zillow Flex, which is a referral-based program where Zillow connects us with high-intent buyers and sellers. So basically the way it works is, let's say someone's shopping for a home. They're on the Zillow portal. They click on a home and say, hey, I want to tour this home, or I'm thinking of selling my home, and they click one of the buttons there. Well, that lead then routes to one of the Zillow Flex agents, right, which is our team, and you get connected with them. And they usually connect you with this person on the phone through a live call. If they're not able to connect you through a live call, then you'll receive that lead via follow-up boss, and you'll have to call them and try to set the appointment with them. Zillow Flex also, depending on when you guys watch this video, they are going through a name change. It's going to be called Zillow Preferred. So that's going to be coming up, but we'll just call it Zillow Flex, as that's what we're used to. One of the advantages of Zillow Flex is that there's no upfront ad spend, meaning you're not having to shell out thousands of dollars to generate these leads. You basically get the leads up front, the connections with these clients, and then we only pay when the deal closes. With that being said, it's going to be based off of performance. So it's a performance-based program. So these leads and these connections are distributed to top performing teams like ours who can convert consistently and provide the clients with high quality service. So that's really all Zillow cares about. They want to connect them with the best teams in the area and make sure that the clients are getting the best service and ultimately converting at the highest rate. Since Zillow's not charging us anything up front and they're being paid at the end, well, of course, they want to make sure that we're converting, right? Just to give you a little bit of background on our success with Zillow Flex, we've been in the program for probably about a little over 3 years. We've probably had a little over 250 transactions closed so far from Zillow, and that's close to 300 million in sales generated from the Flex program. So it's a pretty big lead source that we have. And really what it is, it's just a way for us to continue to have consistent closings, consistent opportunity, and for us to build our business off of the Zillow Flex clients that we're connected with. A couple success stories, just a couple examples that I put here. I have one agent on my team who's already gotten about 8 referrals from this single Zillow Flex client over the last 3 years. So they met this client from Flex, did a great job. That client referred them to one client. That same client referred them to another. The referral referred them to another referral. And now it's like 8 referrals later where they only had to pay Zillow for that first initial transaction, the referral fee, and then all the other ones, they didn't have to pay anything. So pretty good deal there. I had another agent on our team who closed their very first transaction in real estate. So they're a newer agent, only been licensed for probably less than 6 months. Their very first deal was a $6.2 million deal, and that was from Zillow. I think they got the lead and the deal closed maybe within 30 or 40 days from when they received that lead or that connection with the client. I have another example of another agent on our team who met the client on a Saturday, got connected with them on a Saturday through Zillow, showed them some homes, wrote the offer on Monday, got them in contract, and closed an all-cash transaction on that same Friday. So less than a week, under 7 days, for a $1.9 million deal here in Willow Glen. And so that was a huge, huge success. So these are just some examples, guys, of like, you know, how Flex can create these opportunities if you take it seriously and you really commit to the follow-up and the accountability and the process. Like, some of these opportunities could just fall on your lap. They don't all happen that way, but a lot of them do. And of course, there's always the ones where you got to nurture them, and you know, they end up transacting months or later, and that's part of the game as well. But some of these opportunities just pop up just from being at the right place at the right time. Okay, so how do these Flex leads kind of fit into our lead generation model? Well, if you've looked through some of our trainings and you've interviewed with us, you'll see that we kind of have 3 different pillars that we use for our lead generation model. We have our SOI, our sphere of influence. We have open houses. And then we have all of the team leads that, you know, we help provide to our agents, which come from a lot of different online lead sources. So Zillow Flex is one of those online lead sources. We also have stuff like Redfin, Ylopo, and stuff like that, but it fits right into our lead gen model, right? So we believe those are like the three important pillars. Of course, there's other ways you can generate leads, and our agents do, but those are the three main ones: is working your SOI, working open houses, and taking the online leads that come in. And that provides like a well-rounded lead generation model. Zillow Flex helps agents ramp up quickly as well, right? Because, let's say if you're an agent that's just starting out and you don't have a lot of clients or a huge database, then getting on Flex can instantly connect you with people who are looking to transact. So it's a huge, huge way to get ramped up very quickly. And then you're going to want to use Flex to build your pipeline, right? Because you're going to meet these clients over time. And like we said, some are ready to transact now, some are ready to transact later, but you're now building a pipeline of high intent people. I would say the leads from Zillow Flex are some of the most motivated, because when they reach Zillow and they finally click, hey, I want to see a property, they've probably been searching already for a long time. They're typically not going to click view a home unless they're really serious about buying a home, right? Or if they're clicking on, hey, I want to sell my home, it's because they've thought about it and they're ready to talk to an agent. So they're high intent. So I would say they're some of the hottest leads that we have in our system, which is why we really focus on them. So is Flex right for you? Let's talk about that, right? So it's really designed for agents who are hungry, who are accountable, and who are serious about scaling their business. You're willing to follow the process, you're willing to follow the systems that we have, the scripts that we have, and you're committed to giving high level service and following up with leads, right? Like I had mentioned earlier, like this is not for people who just want to dabble. This is for people who want to really take the business serious, want to scale, and are really about their real estate business. Because when we connect you with the client and they're motivated and they're ready, you need to show up as the agent that's going to deliver that service and want to deliver that 5-star service, so you can get the referrals, you can get the online reviews, and you can keep growing your business from that initial opportunity, just that, like I've mentioned before. Zillow also has a lot of expectations. So myself and Jason, who's our sales manager, we meet with our Zillow growth advisor quite often. It's like every other week we have a one-on-one where they're checking our performance. So Zillow is monitoring several things. They're monitoring our answer rate. So if your phone rings, we can see how many times did you answer your phone. We can see how many times your phone rang and how many of those that you answered. And there's a certain benchmark that you got to be at. From the ones that you did answer and you did talk to them, all the calls are recorded, so we can listen to your calls. We can see if you followed the script. We can see how many you booked appointments with, because you're going to update the stages and the statuses in Follow Up Boss. So we're checking your appointment rates. And Zillow Flex is monitoring that, your set and your met rates. They're also monitoring referrals to Zillow Home Loans. Zillow also does home loans, and so they are encouraging us. They want us to refer a certain amount of clients over to their home loan department to at least get pre-approved with them and shop around for different loan programs. Doesn't mean the client has to do the loan with them, but they at least want a shot to get them pre-approved and show them their options. They also want to see, we want to see that the notes and updates are going into Follow Up Boss, which is our system. Keep in mind that Zillow owns Follow Up Boss as well. So the CRM that we use, which is, one of the most widely used CRMs, Follow Up Boss, is owned by Zillow. So there's a lot of cool tools and features that flow directly from Zillow into Follow Up Boss. One of the cool things too is that, like, if you update the notes in Follow Up Boss, there's like a two-way sync where you don't have to update the notes in Zillow in the app. It automatically updates, and vice versa. If you update something in Zillow, it'll appear in your Follow Up Boss. So they try to make it easy. And then ultimately, they're going to want to see your conversion rate. So at the end of the day, all those metrics are going to lead to how many deals you're converting. And your performance is going to determine how many leads you receive. So if you're someone that is converting more leads at a higher rate, and you're converting more of these connections at a higher rate, then you're going to get more opportunity. If your conversion is lower, then they're also going to pull back your opportunity. They're going to limit you or cap you. And that's monitored by Zillow, and that's monitored by us as well internally when we're looking through your numbers and we're having performance reviews. So you also don't want to take a bunch of leads and claim a bunch of leads and answer these calls if you're not going to be able to service them. So there's also that part of it where you got to manage your business. You only want to take on what you can service. It's not about just getting as many leads as possible. It's about getting that right amount of leads that you can go all the way with and really service and take them to the finish line. Some of the requirements, guys, to join Zillow Flex, couple things here is number one is you need to know the script. So Zillow has a script called ALM. Though there's another video that you'll see where we just go over the script, and that's going, ALM stands for appointment, location, and motivation. So you got to follow that script. Like I said, your calls are recorded. There's an AI that runs through the calls, and they'll tell us if you're following the script or not. Zillow's done this probably millions of times now where they've monitored calls, and so they know that if you follow a certain script, it leads to more appointments and more success. If you're on the seller's referrals, so Zillow also does have seller referrals, then you need to know our seller SQS script. That's the script that we use for talking to sellers. You got to be certified in our buyer presentation that PRG uses, right? You got to know that presentation. You got to study it. You got to be able to rehearse it. You need to have your MLS and super key, right? Like if you get a client that wants to see a home, you have to be able to access the home. You have to be able to pull up the property on the MLS. So you can't join Flex if you don't have MLS and Supra. You need to be able to show homes and write offers confidently. So that means you've gone through our training, through the agent launch, you've watched the videos, you've attended, the contract trainings, you've watched the videos on how we show homes and the different processes we follow, and you need to be able to do that confidently. There's also some trainings that Zillow has you take as well on their portal. It's like 3 or 4 trainings. They're pretty simple, they're pretty easy, but you have to complete those, and it'll show us if you completed those or not. And then they have an agreement that you sign as well, which is basically the Zillow referral agreement saying, hey, when the deal closes, X amount goes to Zillow, and that's signed by you. That's also signed by our broker at EXP. One of the other things too is you have to attend the ongoing team meetings and trainings that we have, because as things change, as the market changes, you need to be on top of what's going on so that you can provide value to these opportunities that you're getting. So attendance in our trainings and our meetings, and making sure, like when we have Zillow focused trainings and stuff like that, you're there. That's really important as well. And then you got to get certified and signed off by Jason. So all of these things, we're going to check your work on these. Jason, who's the sales manager, will meet with you, make sure you're certified. He'll do the role play with you. He'll make sure you know all of these scripts, the buyer presentation and all that stuff. And he'll even listen to your calls once you get on Flex, and we'll do some training with you. So we usually, when someone gets on Flex, we'll usually give them like 4 or 5 connections. We'll record those calls. We'll see how they do with those connections, how they handle those leads. We'll listen to the calls with you. We'll give you some feedback before we start giving you more leads. So it's very systematized so that you can have the most success. So just some final kind of thoughts on Flex. It's an amazing opportunity, as you've seen from our track record. Close to 300 million in sales is huge. If you just do the math, right? 300 million times 2.5% commission. I mean, you're looking at millions of dollars in gross commission that has been generated to our team, even after we pay Zillow a referral fee and, pay our agents our split. That's still a lot of commissions that have been passed down to our company and to our agents on our team for being part of Flex. It's a great way to build your database over time, because that's the name of the game, right? Is you want to bring leads in, you want to do a great job, you want to now make these part of your database, and then you want to continue to nurture those people and stay in touch with them so that they pay you referrals and dividends over time, right? And Zillow is a great way to kind of supercharge that. But like I said, it's for those agents who are willing to work hard and be held accountable. If you don't want to be managed and you don't want to have people checking your work, this is not the program for you. We treat it like a business, within our business, right? So it's a program within the PRG, kind of lead generation model, but it has its own rules and regulations, right? So if you want to fast track your production, this is one of the most powerful systems you have at your fingertips. And it's a great, it's one of the big value propositions that we offer at PRG, but you got to earn your way into it, and you got to stay in it, right? And something that, I didn't mention is that Zillow Flex is a privilege at the end of the day. It's not like an automatic, you get Zillow Flex, you got to earn your way in, you got to stay in by performing. And, we're going to give opportunity to the agents who are following the program, who are converting at the highest level, and who are leading by example. And just imagine if, by you participating in Flex, you can add an extra, 100,000, 200,000 in net commission to your pocket on top of the other stuff, open houses, your SOI and all that. Like this could be a big piece of your business and your income at the end of the day. So that's the overview on Flex, guys. Take this opportunity, guys, because it is a huge opportunity. Not every single team has it. There's only a handful of teams here in our area that have the Zillow Flex partnership. And so we're looking for those agents who understand the opportunity and want to go all in with it. Hope you guys got a good overview, and I'll talk to you soon.